So welcome back. This is episode 12 of the newly named, by the way, now it is the Unscripted Banter podcast. You're very welcome to. I mean, if you're a subscriber, it won't have changed that much, but it's still myself, Paul, and Stuart.
Should we explain the reason for the name change?
What's the correct word when you start something but you don't maybe research it as much as you should?
Laziness.
I began to notice, and a lot of people are saying it's very hard to find the previous one. Let's be honest. And let's be honest.
Yeah.
I think a name change. It was good that it comes up straight away. Now you type in Unscripted Banter, and we're there. Three faces are there.
Thanks for the warning on that.
And yeah. The only thing that is still a bit slow is Facebook still to change the name. But see, trying to contact any of those companies, you can't speak to a person.
Listen, I hear that. I have an issue going on at the minute with eBay. Where I bought this little card device, and on the 13th of June, still hasn't arrived. And I've tried to open up you open up like a dispute that you haven't received it, but they've taken your money and you haven't received it.
Yeah.
And you're just talking to this bot.
Yep.
Have I helped you with your inquiry? No. Get me to talk to somebody, and it's just a bloody nightmare.
When we were talking a couple of episodes ago about not unsubscribing from things, I forgot to cancel my car insurance and it automatically renewed.
I told you about that at that time.
No, I know. And it's stupid. It just never crossed my mind. And then it came out of my bank, so I rang up, and the woman was saying, "Do you have a ticket? Do you have a number or a code or something that you were speaking?" And I was like, "No, I just want to phone up." But she wouldn't speak to me unless I had this ticket number.
Did you say the last ticket I got was on the Ulster bus? Did you do what I did? Did you get onto your bank and get them to give you a refund through that direct debit guarantee scheme?
No, she said if it doesn't come back in 3 days, then to phone them back. But it did come. Looking at it, did come 2 days later, so I was just lucky.
Okay.
But it's stupid to just let it. I got the letter. I remember getting the letter and saying we'll renew it and all, and I just didn't cancel. But anyway,
and this is because you got it cheaper elsewhere.
£350 cheaper elsewhere.
Yes, of course it is.
But why is it always the case? Why is it always dearer when you stay with the person?
Well, yeah, but look, I was telling you two about this before. When I went to renew the car insurance last year, it was £600 and something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then got the renewal through for this year, and I had gone up to £1,800, right?
Right.
So on the Google and do the search and business that you do, and the next thing then the best price I got was down to £830 something. So I rang back the existing insurer. I said, "Look, here's the price. Oh, we can't touch that. We can't match that. As a gesture, we'll take £20 off it." I said, No. Tell you what, you just don't you renew it. You send out the no claims bonus, and I'll go with this other place.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to the other place, right, and reinsure, and it's reinsured with the same company.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
£860 something.
Mm-hmm.
The same.
It's a scam.
It has to be. So if I'd have stayed with my original broker, it was going to be £1,800 with, say, company A. Find another broker cheaper who reinsure it with company A, but for £1,000 cheaper. It's just wrong. And don't ask me about the motorbike. It's the same bloody business. It's just ridiculous.
I have a friend who's just got a Apple CarPlay thing for his motorbike. He clicks on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
That's a wee bit dangerous.
In what way?
Very I thought, in a car, I think it's bad enough, but on a motorbike, to have a screen in front of you.
Look, I used that when I went to France there in March, but it's the navigation side of it you use, and it's talking to you in your helmet. It's telling you in your helmet, the next junction, turn right, turn left, and you can quickly glance at the screen to see the screen. So I wouldn't put that down as a distraction.
Right. Hey, here's a question, just one motorbike question. What happens if you sneeze inside your helmet?
You splatter a load of shit around the front of your helmet.
But how do you easily clean something off your face, or
How do you clean your face?
I put a helmet on once and I felt like I was dying. It was so claustrophobic, so I couldn't see. That was my line of vision straight ahead.
It's obviously too well. Yeah. Oh, good. You put the clear bit to the front then.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Some people get that mistaken. They're not too sure whether it's the clear bit goes to the front or the back. But it's
right.
To clarify, the clear bit goes to the front.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously it's been too tight on your pistol, right? and it's
It's
giving
something
you
you
that. It's been too close in your ears and too tight. But they're called what's called modular helmets. So the front of it opens up. So you just open up the front of it and get the fresh air.
I have, once or twice come quite close to crashing the car. Just when an aggressive sneeze sneaks up on you.
Yeah.
And is this when you're wearing your helmet in the car?
He needs to wear a helmet in the car when he's sleeping.
Why are you wearing a helmet in the car? This is the other thing gets me as well, right? A couple of weeks ago, I arrived at work, right? And it was quite a nice day, and I arrived down in the motorbike gear, and the first thing, what do they ask you? What do they ask you? Are you on the bike today? No. I walk about like this all the time. Are you on the bike today?
Do you know, I couldn't believe how long it takes to get all of the gear on. We're all the way, he drove to a gig once, and we're all the way home, leaving the car park, and he's still on, putting the jacket on, zipping the jeans up, putting the boots on, getting the helmet on. It's a task.
This is what's putting me, and Banford knows about this too. This is what's making me consider now sort of wrapping it up. As much as I have loved it, and as much as I have trained myself up to the standard I'm at, the price of equipment, like a helmet's about £1,000, a coat you'd pay more than £1,000 for it, and it's the hassle of getting it all on, and then you go way down the road and it's maybe too warm, and then you think, hold on a second, looks like a nice day today, I'll not put all that kit on, I'll put on the summer stuff. And then you go way down the road and it starts to rain, you're soaked. So I'm seriously, really at the minute, I am seriously considering sort of wrapping that up, because it's just not, you get to the point where you just think can't be, and that was a fair point you said, getting all the gear, zipping it up, then you're walking around like a bloody Michelin man because of all this hard protection on you and the helmet, and as you say, maybe you can't see clearly out of the helmet and it steams up. Well, look, I'm maybe making excuses, but it's
You've just talked yourself out of it.
yeah, it's one of those things that dare I use the terminology, although I'll be lambasted for this, but it's a younger man's game. But there's plenty of more senior gentlemen still riding motorcycles, and long may they continue.
What about like a mobility scooter? But
that's next. That is next. That's what we would laugh at. The mobility scooter is the next thing. Yeah. There was a video there not so long ago. Did you see the boy in England, and he's going up the M25?
No.
Right, high vis vest and all on him, the big tall flag, and he's going up the M25. It's not.
There's a guy I remember I was in a town, and the only space on the street, and I thought, oh, brilliant, I'll just reverse in here. Bloody mobility scooter parked in the on-street car parking.
And rightly so.
What do you mean rightly so? It's a car space.
And rightly so. Because
no,
you sound like a type of boy that would come along and find a motorbike parked in a car space and go, what's he doing parked in there?
No, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
You think so?
There's places to park bikes, surely.
Well, there are a few spots, but they're not all motorcycle parking. But you're entitled to park in the street for your penny.
I know.
What I want to know is that's this movie that's out today. Is it The Bike Riders with Tom Hardy and Austin Butler? And have you seen
I like Tom Hardy.
The hoops they had to jump through to film a film today, where they're all just on the bikes in leather jackets and no helmets? And apparently at one point they were going to have to shoot this thing where they're all wearing helmets, but helmets that would still, like, there was a roof at the top for their hair.
It's just not a helmet then.
Well, it was trying to make it still trying to make it cool and edgy, but no, they fought for. It's called The Bike Riders, I believe.
I must take a note of that.
I've seen people like that where they have helmets and their helmets have hair. You know, like their helmets have like Mohicans and all that. I think that's just a bit tatty. Do you not think?
That brings the whole thing down to a level. But you see, you have to be careful because there are motorcycling groups, and especially in the States, there are motorcycling groups that take no crap, right?
Oh, aye.
And they all ride mostly Harley Davidsons, not to mention any types. But there's it gets a lot of motorcyclists a bad name. But the other thing as well is, if you ever go on holiday, sure, they're darting around in their flip flops and they're darting around with no helmets, no coats, no nothing else, and they're zooming up the inside of you and zooming up the outside of you. And even here today, I was down the other day, and I'm getting out of the car, and I'm nearly wiped out by this scooter. Okay, the big L plate delivering food. Okay,
Yeah.
and the scooter, and he's up and down. They've no license for it. They've maybe just a professional license. They've no training, and they're still doing 60, 70 mile an hour out delivering the food with absolutely no training. And again, that just would, it brings that whole motorcycling thing right down to a level of, hold on a second.
I love watching driving videos from like China and especially Indian, but like when they're on bike, like there's two guys on bikes and they're holding like a massive bit of wood and they're going down the road to transport the wood down the road.
I was in Dublin yesterday and parked the car, right? I'm coming out and there's an electric bike past me with 3 on it. One child sitting on the handlebars at the front, one child sitting on a seat at the back, and him in the middle. No helmets, no nothing.
Flip.
Doing about 40 mile an hour.
But you were in Dublin for the Pink concert, and
Yeah.
I think people listening, I mean, it's one of the biggest gigs of the year. We'd like your review of it.
Strap yourselves in.
Yeah.
That good?
Look, I didn't know what I was expecting, and I thought maybe I was expecting more than I was. I expected that. Well, the giveaway was Carnival Tour, right? And I thought to myself, this is going to be something like a Cirque du Soleil type thing, or some sort of a circus show, or more of and to a point it was more of a circus show. Now, at points she was talking to the audience, and I had to say, I don't know what I can't understand what she's saying, but it was definitely back on track. It was great atmosphere, great songs. We all know those songs. But when she's going up in a chair, spinning upside down and spinning from side to side, 25 feet above the stage, and the camera's in close on her. No microphone, no head mic, and she's still singing on the speaker. But it was back on track. So was it an entertaining show? Yes. Was it worth seeing? Yes. Was it a concert? No. It was a show. Does that make sense? Now, one of the guys behind me actually, and he pointed it out when the camera came around really close. There was a couple of times where the camera actually picked up like and he pointed it out. He says, "Oh, look now, like what do you call one of those things that the words come up on the
Auto cue.
auto cue." Caught the auto cue a couple of times, and you could see what was going on in the auto cue. So obviously that was the words of a particular song. Well, obviously, fair enough. I think, Banford, this is what that I was expecting was the time we went to the Michael Jackson Cirque du Soleil thing. I was expecting something like that.
I think,
And it wasn't that.
it probably would be that if it was in a similar sort of theatre, purpose built. But
Yes.
there's only, I suppose, so much you can do when you're bringing a show into a stadium every other night. But
Yes.
the other, no flash bang, no. But something you said, it was funny because I went to Sting the other night, and the gig started with this obviously tracked bass line playing and playing and playing and playing and playing. And next thing he walks out and waves, and then he joins in and sort of took over. But it was just interesting the way the bass line was being played before he walked on stage, but then he almost took it over, and then they faded that one out and he started playing it. But like, first couple of songs, Message in a Bottle, If I Ever Lose My Faith in You, Englishman in New York, Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic, Fields of Gold. That's the first 5 songs. Like you've
they're belters, but
yeah, great.
her set list was brilliant too. Her set list was really good. She did an a cappella, and that was really good. And she sat on top of the piano and did it, and it was really good. And then she played the piano, and again, that was quite good. But the Blow Me One Last Kiss, Never Wanna Dance Again. That all to me looked very, very just back on track. But good, high energy. She never stopped the whole thing. And her daughter came out and sang a song with her, which was really good. And but I think the hype that I had got before all of this from friends and colleagues, oh, you have to see Pink, you got to go put it on your bucket list. Absolutely fabulous, great, get there. I thought it was overhyped, but I'll tell you who did a really sterling job, and who is really, really good, Rag and Bone Man.
All right.
Oh, was he there?
Yeah,
Oh, very good.
he has a great voice. He's only human, of course, and he is a giant. But yeah, he belted out those tunes and got a great reception. But the downside to that again for me, I thought, was Rag and Bone Man finished around about 8:15, and she didn't come on to 8:55. So you had that 8:15 to 8:55 scenario of just knocking about.
Do you think though, if that show had been in somewhere like, let's say, Three Arena, it would have been more what you expected? It was just the sheer
Yeah.
scale
Oh
of the
yeah.
gig.
Yes. Yeah. That's 100%. That's 100%. Because she was going on about, she was saying something about, but I couldn't understand what she was going on about the last time she played in the Point,
Okay.
and you know how the Point was, and she was sort of asking the crowd, "Were you at the Point?" And again, that would have been a
Is
more.
that the point in Lisburn?
The Point guy. You know, that would have been more of I think a closer knit gig. But the other thing again is, and about these things, and funny, we were talking about this last night. Down there, 85 odd thousand people in that stadium. Up here, we don't even have that facility. We have nowhere we can host anything like that on that scale. Driving down there, the hassle of trying to get parked, roads closed from 4 o'clock, traffic, the amount of people. Once you get parked, then getting out, and then last night, for some unknown reason, out of the wisdom of whatever, they decided to close the tunnel.
Oh no.
Right.
Oh God.
The tunnel was closed from 9:30.
Uh-huh.
So so you couldn't get back up you had to go around the city. The other thing as well, again with that, you know, you go and you pay there for a seat and you sit, and I was in seat 12, and sort of 4 down from the end. You know,
What's that?
I began to I actually said to some people on the way out, because I was up, down, up, down, up, down. Let me out. Can you let me in? Let me out. Let me in. To me, I felt it was mass.
Right.
Right? Stand up,
Yeah.
sit down. Stand up, sit down. Stand up, sit down. I need out. Leave me out.
I hate when people around you kind of stand up and they dance and they're stand up, and then I just feel like I won't get up and stand up and dance, so you just feel a bit.
Well, you had to end up stand up because everybody else in front of you was stand up, and then you couldn't see anything, so you had to stand up, which meant then the ones behind couldn't see, so they had to stand up. So you end up standing up. So the moral to that story is you're far better going down and standing.
But the interesting thing is,
standing up anyway.
Pink isn't in 2024 the most relevant act anymore. She's like a greatest hits legacy act, and.
But I'm going to tell you, there's 160,000 people over the last 2 nights will say different.
That's my point. As in, I think she caught the tail end of a time when people recognized or associated an artist with a certain back catalogue of music. Whereas, you know, Dua Lipa is a hell of a lot more relevant, but she could maybe do one Aviva. I don't think she could do 2.
Well, we said last night as well, what is Pink? Is she a rocker? Is she a rocker? She certainly doesn't do country, right? Blow Me One Last Kiss is a completely different type of tune. It's it's just, let's get the party started. It's just a different type of, it's not pop either, really, is it?
And why is she called Pink?
Well, that's a good question as well. There's dark purple, so she can't use that one.
Any other color would sound weird, because you know her as Pink. Any other color would sound weird.
I wouldn't give the same sort of thing. And tonight, live on stage, turquoise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Ladies and gentlemen, turquoise. Like,
was it sort of girls at the tail end of 30? Were there lesbians there?
Yeah.
Hang on. What was the typical kind of audience? Were there lesbians there?
Yeah.
No, I just feel like, these type of pop acts, and I'll throw Kylie in there, I'll throw Gaga in there, Sam Smith. That's the type of, be yourself. Nobody's has the right to tell you who you are. You be who you are. You let them know who you are. Buy the merch. Buy the merch.
Oh, it's funny. The attire for that type of gig is a pink cowboy hat type thing, which is a bit strange. And it has to be like a white top and white shorts and pink boots. That seems to be the attire for those things. But yes, that would have been the majority of the audience. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm just picturing you in that.
Well, I'm still in my pink top, as you can see. Yeah. And again, I'll as I was a guest of Pink. It was a good show.
Is it gonna make your TripAdvisor thing?
Well, Pink paid for my ticket, as you know. So it was I was a guest. So yes, it was a good show. It was very energetic. Very.
Hang on. I love the idea of Pink putting her card details in. This is for Paul Orr. 4428.
Yeah, Pink just rang me with her PIN number, and that sorted it out. She said, "Check out Ticketmaster.ie. Here's my card details."
Hey, Pink, you have to open your bank app there to approve it for me.
Yeah,
Pink sitting at her laptop. Congratulations, Paul is going to the show. Do you want to let people know?
Yeah. You do like to see on the ticket, don't you? Like complimentary. You do like to see that. It's always a wee perk, bonus. You like to see that. So once she's sitting going through her bank statement today, she'll find a few tickets there that weren't paid for. What happened to that money? Where'd that go?
A lot of people who though would go complimentary would sort of then fakely give a very enthusiastically positive review, but not you.
No, but look, I'm not. Like, I like to be me, and I like to give it as what I say and what I see and what I think.
Speaking of gigs, did you see any of the Download Festival stuff going around online?
Yeah, just the feedback, technical difficulties, artist clashes, muddy field.
And there was a trader there who didn't cook their chicken properly, and like 300 odd people had food poisoning at the festival.
Oh, that sounds very like a gig last Sunday night.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Have you ever done like Glastonbury or camping at a festival?
No, I would never do it. That to me, but I wouldn't have. Where's the pleasure in that?
Years ago, what's the one down south that doesn't exist anymore?
Oh, I know what one you mean. Did you do it? The camping?
Years ago, yeah, for Jay-Z. I really liked Jay-Z at the time. But I remember it being a muddy endurance test, yeah. But when you're young, you don't care. Well, I did care, but most people didn't care.
I just couldn't. And there was the whole... then it was all stopped and paused and all, and you're standing there in the rain because I just can't go on. And can't do it.
Although, I mean, I would have no incentive to go because the BBC do such a good job of broadcasting it. But Glastonbury seems a bit more civilized, a bit more upmarket.
Another video we've seen this week was the ride in the theme park. They were up and they were hanging upside down, and the power cut out, and they were hanging upside down for 35 minutes on this ride because the power cut out.
But was there not something also about? Maybe that was something else. So was it on like a big wheel or something?
There was a big wheel too beside it, and they were at the top, and they were videoing these other people across the way, and they were just hanging there. They were just like...
Was this the one where they tried to crawl out of and crawl down the wheel? Is that it?
Maybe to get down, probably, because I know they were stuck for 30 odd minutes until the power came back on again.
That's the one I saw actually, where they were trying to crawl out of the cars or release themselves, and then start to try and crawl out of the wheel or out of the ride back down to ground level. That
would just put me off any ride. Like, imagine being hung upside down for a couple of minutes is bad, but would you not die for being upside down that long?
No.
I thought all the blood. Sure, would all the blood not rush to your head, and it would do you damage?
Yeah, but, no. I don't know if you have one now, Pistol, but most people have a heart. Most people have a heart, and the heart, pumps the blood around the body. So,
but if you're hanging upside down, is not all going to your head?
But it'll still pump to your feet. Now, most of that. That's why in a first aid scenario or an accident scenario, you would always raise the limb that has been traumatized to keep the blood flow going around the heart and the vital organs, right? But if it's not as if it's not like a bottle pistol that's half full, and you turn it upside down and it all goes to the top.
Right.
So if I give you a tip. If you take two fingers and you put them on the side, you might feel a pulse, and that'll give it away if you have a heart there.
Nothing there.
No, I thought that.
Do you know what I'm obsessed with though? The heart app on my phone or on my watch. At various periods throughout the day,
Blood pressure.
check. Not even blood pressure, just to check it's still beating.
What?
You know that you can put your finger on it and it tells you, it goes through and it shows you what rhythm your heart is.
Right. I think, Pistol, you need to speak to somebody with more of an authority. And are you checking that to make sure you're still alive?
No, just various points. I just like to see what rhythm and what it shows you, like the points and the stabs.
Right.
I would just like to see what's happening.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
The final thing in this episode I want to mention. Can I mention Just Stop Oil?
You mentioned if you want.
Have you seen what's going on recently?
Well, I wouldn't be going to Stonehenge.
That's one of them.
Right.
The other one was they thought they got Taylor Swift's plane, so they broke into this private plane area in Gatwick. I think it was Gatwick or Stansted, and they thought it was Taylor Swift's plane, so they sprayed the whole plane, or I think it turned out not to be hers. But I always think, like, what?
You sure it wasn't pink?
No, it was orange.
Right, in case it might have been Pink's team.
I just don't get people who protest like that when we're talking about Just Stop Oil. Like, what is the gain? Like throwing paint over Mona Lisa. Like, what's that going to do?
None. The German police had the right idea. The super glued themselves to the street, and the German police came along and just ripped their hands off the street.
Oh, did they?
Skin and all. Moved them
Because
along.
they do that on motorways here, not here, but England anyway. And then the police say they can't do anything,
It's just
even though they're sitting on a motorway and they can't do anything.
no. So you can't. You get human rights and. The best about it was they were sitting on the motorway there in England a while back, blocking traffic, and the bloody first 4 or 5 or 8 or 10 cars were all electric.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And blocking but they were electric cars. Oh, but that made no difference. Doesn't matter.
There's another one. They were like blocking lorries or like oil tankers, and it turned out to be it was cooking oil in the tankers, not actually like.
Yeah, no, but look, here's the other thing you have to say. To be, let's be honest here as well. If us three were in any of these organisations or whatever the case may be, and you get yourself up on a Monday and say, "Now, right, we're going to go down and glue ourselves to the junction at Finnegan."
Yeah. Yeah.
There's seriously something wrong.
I know. I feel in this country.
What are you doing tomorrow, Pistol? Oh, I'm going to be glued to the road in the middle of Finnegan Crossroads. I'll be home late. Don't make my tea.
I think people in this country they would just drive over you here.
Who gets up in the morning and thinks I must go and glue myself to the road down there in Finnegan?
Yeah. I know.
Something wrong.
Or they're in the snooker
cinema and spray orange paint up the window.
Yeah,
who's paying for the paint?
They bought tickets for the snooker just so they could go up in the middle of the game and just throw orange powder over the snooker table.
Yeah.
It's like all that effort.
Who's paying for the paint? Who's paying for the powder? Who's paying these people? It's like I must go and tie myself to a tree. What? I must be getting too old. I might be getting far too non-tolerant, but it's just ridiculous.
Okay, well, by the way, just to end this episode, I know I probably shouldn't ask you on the episode, but what do you think of the new name, Unscripted Banter? Does that get green tick, or is it?
It sums the whole thing up, doesn't it?
Okay.
I think it's sort of catch-22. It is easier to find when you actually type it in, but I don't know how many of our audience can actually spell it.
Yeah, or work technology. Yeah. Okay. No, I quite like it, and if it's easier to find, then that's fine with me. But I know a lot of people were saying the other one was too hard. So, well, you live and learn.
I think people those that cared saw it as like Pistol or in Banford. I don't think people sort of were that hung up on the name.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you're not already hitting that subscribe button, please do it. And we'll see you in the next episode.
All right. See you later.
Love you long time. Send money.
Adios. Hasta mañana.